Hi everyone, welcome back. Okay, let's do quick Valentine's wraps, right? We all know how to get to here. I've done it in many videos. This is 12 inches of 20 gauge square soft wire. They've been straightened, they were banded in the middle, they were bent into a V that fits the bottom of my little heart. Okay, this is dragon's blood. Alright, so when you get to here, you can either, this one has no flat back, right? So it's a little trickier to be on the paper because you won't get a proper bend on it. So what I like to do is just kind of nestle that point into my fingers, put my heart right there, hold it all as steady as you can, brace one side while you work to pull the other side. Just gently work it to the center. You're about 1/4 of an inch from the tip to this cross. So if you want to bend these up prior to getting, this one over so that they don't collide, you can do that. So I'll just hold everything. Make sure you cut a nice, you're coming down on these wires all nice and even. I'm trying to constantly show you is why I keep shifting. You would simply just be here and, be dealing with it. Okay, so you about like that. Right about there. You can do it with your fingers by bracing, or you can do it with some pliers. I'm going to do it with some pliers so that you can see it. Just grip at the approximate center. Try to eyeball that as best that you can. Take a slight upward bend. Okay, just like that. Don't go crazy. Once you get that, you can drop your heart. Just focus. I would be on my cry cut board here, right? So I just want to make sure that this stays center and that my wires don't, list as I make this bend. If we try to do this all holding it, sometimes that's what happens. So I'll get right back. So I put my heart down, I'll get right back in here with some pliers at that little bend. And I'll just help it along a little bit more. Not much, okay? Make sure that these bends are even. If your pliers are tapered, there you go. And now we'll do the other side. Put everything back into your hands. And I would be, so you see how that comes nice and straight up from center. So hold everything with the point back in place. Brace your fingers here so that you have some leverage. And then and put your fingers down here so the point stays. And then just gently work it up. Cross it in front. They'll collide a little bit. But here I'm holding, I'm holding the other ones back a little bit so I can get these down. Make them cross right there. You just want to try to make them the same. So what I do is I put my shoulders together and I eyeball from the curve where that turn should be, and it should be right about here. Here's the shoulder, right about where my finger starts is where I start to turn up. It's just about the approximate center of the heart, okay? So don't worry so much. Hold it all together right here. And use whichever plier is comfortable for you to get a nice hold. I'm just looking to see, is this bend going to be about even on both sides? And yeah, it is. So I'll just start a slight bend up. Don't go too far. Get the wires back side by side. Make this a little bit more to match the other side. Okay, we can adjust on the way up. I'm putting my wires together, 4 on 4. And then now from here, get your point in there. Just do a gentle squeezing and even them up. And keep them center. You see what I'm talking about? So for me, that's a little easier on my hands than just trying to work them all together. I start that pre-bend on both sides, and then I can squeeze them a little easier as I come down. And all I have to worry about is the point of my heart kind of being in place. It's okay if there's a little gap, okay, between here, and you want these two wire halves to come together nicely, just like that. And it's okay if they slope a little bit, don't worry. You're going to adjust all of that, and you're going to bend those in anyway. So just like every frame, I'm going to get another little piece of tape just to help me hold it together. Since this tumbled heart is pretty much finished on both sides, I can do the same on both sides. Make it pretty on both sides. So I'm going to take a piece of 22 gauge, and I'm just going to take about a foot of it. I'm going to bend over a couple of inches. I'll just wrap the neck up here with about 3 or 4 little wraps. Slide it all down. Just like that. There you go. That's all going to be hidden underneath the veil, so don't stress it. Just keep all 4 wire sides up against each other nicely like that. Keep your half round nice. You can peel away all this paper. Peel the one that holds both of them. Split them. Now peel these away. Alright, we'll put those rabbit ears back together. Okay, so it doesn't matter whichever side is front or back because we don't have one yet. I like to go through and just kind of level out all 4 wires if I got any sloping shoulders or anything. I don't make drastic changes. Just level them out if they need it. And then down here where your bands begin, you can use your bent nose, you can use flat nose. We've been working flat nose this month. So these are my Lindstrom. I know, don't laugh, they're terrible. They're 15, 13 years old. I don't know. I love them. They still work. Lindstrom RX. So I need to get a new pair, I know. I'm going to hold it, but they're the perfect width. I don't want to give them up. This is like my favorite hammer. I'm going to hold it right there next to the bands. I'm going to put my fingers into the shoulders of this heart frame. And I'm going to turn my plier to the left. And you see that wire scooching in, right? Just going to make like a, not quite a 90-degree turn, but a quarter turn. And then this will come out, okay? Keep these bands here at the neck. If they slip a little, just get them back into order. It's okay. And then at the neck, it's going to pull out a little bit like that, okay? So that's okay too. Just tap it. Don't change the shape of your neck or anything, but you see it'll into order just like that if you need to. Make sure that these are settled so they don't go too far off and then that the next bend is even. Okay, same thing. Come into here with your plier. Grip right on that. Oh, let me see. Get it to where you can see it. Grip on that very last wire. I'm keeping the same distance using my plier head here. That's why I like these flats so much. Turn to the right. Put your finger in the hole. Just make a turn to the right. Bend. Okay, so it bends. And now you have a little seat on the one side. Okay, remember that both sides are going to be visible, so you want to make them pretty. So I'll come in here. Things will have shifted and moved a little bit. Slip your heart into place. It's going to be a little bit wobbly because, you know, it's bulbous on both sides. So you see it's not flat. So normally with cabochon, we could just be here and start the frame in the front. But this one I want to pull back a little bit because to accommodate the girth and the dome and the heart. So after you get your rails bent back, be real careful because, again, remember, both sides are actually the front. I'm just referring to it now so you know what we're talking about. You can grip it, and I'm not really gripping it more than I'm just, I'm not really gripping it more than I'm just turning it out. Okay, just turning it out a little bit to get underneath it here. Sometimes this is easier. And just lift up so you make a little room for the belly. Okay, now when you see this back in here, it's going to be a much more comfortable fit on this stone, you see? Then you can just motion it back down. Okay, so while it's here though, check your neck. Just use your fingers, pinch them back nice. If it's moved, settle these wires down if they've moved. Okay, we'll clean them up again. Okay. All right, so now with your fingers, just pull these shoulders out a little bit. Don't slip. It doesn't have to be drastic, just a little bit. Lets you hold onto your heart a little easier. Come over the shoulders a little bit. Just like that. Then if these, you know, if your tips are standing up here, just push them back slightly. That. And now this one, the top one on the other side, get your fingernail in there and just raise it slightly. Actually, let's do this side first so you can see. Just raise it slightly from here. Get your plier in there and do the same as the other side. Just wedge it in as you can. If you can't, it's okay if they're a little different. Just get your fingernail in there. Put your thumb here and hold the shoulder wire back. Get my plier in there. Hold the shoulder wire back. Turn to the left. Okay. Land that wire. Just like that. Very pretty. And now one more. So hold it all together. Separate with your thumb. Get your plier in there. Best you can, as even as the other side. Hold the shoulder wire down and turn into the heart. Okay? Land the wire and work it. Nice and flat. So pretty. I think that's just beautiful. Make sure your wires up here are nice. You can take a plier and do a little tapping. If you need to scooch them down a little bit, just be careful, don't slip. If you need to tap, you know, these wires here a little bit, you can. Just flip it over. Should scatter those wires to the side a little bit. Make sure you're straight on top of your heart and that you're not listing. Right, so that these rails should stand nice and tall. Beautiful. I have this gorgeous design, so I'm not going to really do much more, and I like the slope of this. It's pretty good. Beautiful. If your little ends come up while you're working, pay attention. Just tap them in. Turn to the other side. Looks good. This should be pretty centered to your heart. If it's not, and it's, you know, listing to one side, get a nylon jaw on it, right here. Just work it until it's nice. You don't need to force anything. If you have gaps here that you don't like, hold everything steady, take your nylon jaw and do gentle scraping to tighten that up. Gentle scraping to tighten that up. Okay, if these points are up and you're having trouble with the thumbs, get the butt end of the plier, lay it on your board, just tap the points, hold the shoulders and tap the points. Okay, flip it over, hold the shoulders and tap the points. So you could even tap the tip here up or down, you know, if you needed to. Okay, keep your half round in order. Okay, that's gorgeous. So now you have this beautiful capture. You can do 10,000 things with your heart. And it's a simple, and it's gorgeous, and it's super sturdy. And it gives you lots of options.